everyone, Blugoblin here. Thank you for joining me for my very late comic book review for this week of February 2014. I want to thank y'all for joining me, and pardon my voice, it's a little raspy. I think I'm coming down with a slight cough. I hope it doesn't lead into a full-blown flu, so you'll have to deal with this. Excuse me. I got several from DC and some Marvel. I don't have any independent books this week, but I'm going to start with DC and end it with Marvel. And yes, I've already been asked this twice, and I've already posted my thoughts about it. Yes, I heard about DC canceling the movement, and if you want to know what my thoughts are, go to my Tumblr page, blugoblin.tumblr.com, and go read my thoughts on it. I posted it, and I tell it like it is. We're going to start off with DC. We're going to start off with some Gail Simone goodness. We're going to start off with Batgirl, number 28. Introducing Silver. Will he destroy the vampires of Gotham? This was really good. This is one of those stories in which, you know, we got another homicidal maniac who is seeing the Bat family as something that they're not, but he truly believes that that's what they are. He believes that they're a family of vampires. And I love the fact that they gave a little mention to the fact that he knows that Robin is already dead, so he's going to go after the others, and he targets Batgirl in this issue, obviously. But in this issue, we get to see Barbara still, you know, still reeling from some past stuff in here and everything like that. And she comes across this fellow, and he is just borderline, he's just crazy. He is fucking crazy. I mean, cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs kind of crazy. I mean, he honestly feels like he's a hero, and he's ridding the world of these diseased vampires, and he sees a group of thugs that got beat up by somebody who knows Barbara, but I'm not going to spoil who that is. But he sees them as being infected, and he kills them and everything like that. I mean, it's just, I mean, this guy's just nuts. It was really, really well done. I liked the cliffhanger. This was a fantastic read. I will admit, it's not the best stuff from Gail that Gail's done on this title, but be that as it may, this was still a very fun read. I enjoyed it. It was good. I mean, very entertaining stuff. I can't get enough Gail Simone on this title, on Batgirl. May she never leave this title again. This is just really, really good stuff. I loved it. Moving on to Batman, number 28. As much as I love Batman, DC's really testing my patience. I mean, how much more Batman shit can you throw out there on the market? This is a secret glimpse into Batman Eternal, another Batman title, and this is going to be a weekly title. Give me a fucking break. I'm not going to buy Batman Eternal, but maybe I'll read it and review it on Dark Avenger Inc. Plus if nobody else is going to call dibs on it, because I'm still up in the air on whether I should review. I would like to review the new Fantastic Four and probably Batman Eternal for Inc. Plus. I'll stick with Ultimate Spider-Man, but I'm done with Savage Wolverine. I've stopped reading that series. I don't even know if that series is still up or not. And I'll probably stick with Ultimate X-Men if they continue with it. But yeah, I'm done with Savage Wolverine. I'll try to stick to Ultimate Spidey and X-Men, but I'd like to give Batman Eternal at least a look. That and the new Fantastic Four for Dark Avenger Inc. Plus. But this is Batman number 28. Scott Snyder, James Tynion IV do a good job with the writing. We got Dustin Nguyen. I can never pronounce his name, and he's a good artist. He's a really good artist. The artwork in here was very solid, very well put together. Yeah, this is like, I believe, you know, the way the book tells it, it's like this is Gotham City soon. I mean, this has, you know, timeline-wise, according to, you know, DC Comics and to Batman, this has yet to happen. But the way they set this up, it's almost like they're saying, oh, this is gonna happen. It may end up happening. Okay, whatever. Harper Row. I believe Harper Row was one of the biggest stars of this book. And when I saw Harper Row, and I mean, it's already blown up all over the internet, so it's not much of a spoiler. But Harper Row, at first I thought, oh God, is she going to be the new Nightwing? But now she's being called Bluebird. I'm like, okay, Bluebird. It works. Her look isn't exactly original, but I think I'm fine with her being her own character in Bluebird rather than her just being the new Nightwing or the next Robin. Because that leaves those spots still open and still available. You know, because I don't know what's going on with Dick Grayson right now, because I stopped reading Nightwing, and I don't know what they're doing with him in Forever Evil right now, so I don't know. But there's still a spot open for Robin, and still a spot open for Nightwing, so I like that. But they put Harper Row technically in the Bat family to make her a key character, and I like that. I dig that. This is really good stuff. She finds a way to sneak into what is called, I believe, Gotham's last standing nightclub. She gives a password. They find out it's an old password, but they let her in anyway just to, you know, show her it's like, hey, sometimes shit happens. We're now gonna hurt you, because, you know, they were suspicious of her, but they let her come in anyway. And it turns out she was helping Batman out. And I like the fact that that her and Batman are not exactly getting along perfectly, but they do have a common threat, and they help each other to fight it. And they're looking for the new kingpin of crime in Gotham City, and they find this person. They find this new kingpin. Whoa! Of all the people. Now, as much as this issue's been blown up all over the internet, I'll still try my best not to spoil anything, even though I will try my best not to be a spoiler for the cliffhanger. This was really good. I actually dug this. This is supposedly going to lead into Batman Eternal. I might give it a look, but I'm not guaranteeing that I'm going to buy any of it. I might just simply read it and then review it. But buying a weekly Batman series, that's too much for me. Too much money for me. I mean, I spend enough money on comic books as it is. But overall, this was a solid read. I enjoyed it. The storytelling flowed very well. It was a bit much getting used to what was going on in here, considering that this is happening soon. That's how they put it. It was what it was, and I actually liked it. My girlfriend convinced me to get this book. I can understand. You know, she owns Arkham Comics, so of course she's going to push the product on me. I'm just kidding, honey. Joker's Daughter one-shot. Well, I will say this. This was much better than the one-shot from Villains Month. That book was a piece of shit. This was much better, much easier to read, much easier to get emotionally involved with the character to a certain extent. I mean, not much really to say about this. I don't even know if they gave her the name Dwella Dent, because that's who when I was growing up reading comic books, that's who the Joker's daughter was Dwella Dent, the original Harlequin. Pardon me. But, yeah, like I said, this was much, much better than the Villains Month one-shot. I kind of wish that this was the Villains Month one-shot instead of having to do 2 one-shots to try and get this character over. But as far as her character is concerned, there's really not much to say. I mean, I've seen characters done like this before. You know, a crazed, emotional teenager who wants to believe that she's part of something bigger when she's just simply another blip on the radar screen. I mean, I've seen characters like this done hundreds and hundreds of times. Nothing really original in here, she just comes off as a sick and deranged Joker fangirl who wants to look like the Joker, and anybody who tries to give her a reality check, she ends up maiming them or putting them through pure hell and shit like that. This was an entertaining read, but as far as character development goes, this really didn't do that much for me. I mean, is this worth $5? In my opinion, hell no. It wasn't a god-awful book. I enjoyed the storytelling for the most part, but like I said, the character development was really, really at best for me. I don't regret buying it, because it wasn't a bad read, but like I said, we've seen this kind of shit before. So really not much else to say about it. Green Lantern Corps number 28. Van Jensen, Bernard Chang, on the hunt for one of their own. John Stewart leads a team of Green Lanterns to go try and find a former Green Lantern who is also a member of the race that they are combating right now in this whole Corps War, or whatever the fuck they want to call it. Not much to this book. It's just that the Green Lantern, the former Green Lantern that they're hunting down, he isn't going to come quietly. I mean, he puts up a hell of a fight. There's all kinds of, swerves and twists and, false reveals to this fight and everything. It was very well done, very well executed. It had some good action, good espionage style storytelling. It was really good. Not much else to say. I mean, it's just they're on the hunt for this guy and they find him and shit hits the fan. Now there's other stuff going on with the rest of the Corps, like, Kilowog and Slack and everything. Sinestro's daughter gets taken by somebody. Although, even though the cliffhanger was damn awesome, it was predictable because I already knew who it was going to be due to what I call the obvious silhouettes. I mean, I saw the silhouettes for this character and I'm like, oh my god, yeah. And then I saw the cliffhanger. It didn't floor me. I liked the way the cliffhanger looked. But then again, I already knew who it was going to be because DC did a horrible job of hiding who it was with the very predictable and very recognizable silhouettes near the end of the book. But despite that minor nitpick, this was a really good read and I enjoyed it. It was good. A solid read. I recommend giving that book a look. It'd be worth your time. And we're going to finish off here. Hang on. Pardon me again. We're going to finish off DC with Suicide Squad 28. If OMAC isn't stopped, everybody dies. Matt Kent, Jason Masters, Carlos Rodriguez. We're approaching the end of this series. I believe this series ends at issue 30. I don't really know that for a fact or not. I'm sure somebody will let me know in the comment section, but when this series ends, I don't really think I'm going to miss it because I've stuck with this series because of Harley and because I felt like at the time when it first launched, I felt like this was the closest we were ever going to get to a Secret Six style kind of book. And this series had some really good issues, had some really good moments, had some really good stories. Then again, it also had its big flaws. I'm kind of wondering how the series is going to end. Are they going to kill a lot of the characters off, and except for, the obvious ones that they're going to keep alive? But it's just, this was just okay at best. I mean, the things I do like about this is, again, Harley, and I actually dig how Power Girl is done in this series. I appreciate Power Girl in here much more than I did in World's Finest before I dropped that sack of garbage. But this was very okay at best. There's a Mortal Kombat style death in here, so I'm just going to warn you. There is a, there is a very gruesome death scene in this book, and I'm like, oh god, really? Was that really necessary? And then I heard in my mind, fatality. I'm like, okay, that was overdone. And not much else to say other than that. I mean, this was, like I said, just okay at best. And I won't miss it when it goes. Because with a series like Suicide Squad, DC could have done a much better job with it. Wasn't the worst series I've ever read, but it could have been better. Moving on to Marvel, we're going to start off with all new X-Men number 23. This is part 3 of the trial of Jean Grey. Brian Michael Bendis, Stuart Immonen. This is good stuff. We get to see what who captured Jean. It was the Shi'ar, and how they're holding her captive. pretty damn clever, pretty damn smart of the Shi'ar to take every precaution that they can think of to keep Jean from being Jean in here. The Young X-Men, X-23 and Kitty Pryde tag along with the Guardians of the Galaxy to go retrieve Jean. And I just love the chemistry between all the characters, especially Iceman and Rocket Raccoon. That shit was fucking gold. I loved that. Bendis, please, give me more crossovers between these two teams. The dynamic chemistry between the two teams was just pure gold. I loved it. It was great. And we saw in here the return of a certain someone, and I told my bro Chris on Twitter, I said, yeah, he's back due to the ever-loving power of plot convenience. It is what it is. You know, we see a certain character in here that I assumed was dead for a long, long time, but it turns out he wasn't dead. And I'm like, oh boy, this could not be much more of a coincidence. Of course this guy's going to show up in a story like this. It's all about plot convenience. However, with that minor gripe being said, I don't mind seeing him again because I think he could add more to this story, and I'm really anxious to see where they go from here. This was a really, really good read. I enjoyed it. Seeing what Jean goes through in here was really good. Like I said, the stuff between the Guardians and the X-Men, primarily Beast and Iceman with the Guardians, was just gold. I loved it. It was great. Fantastic read. Solid goodness. I loved it. All New X Factor number 3. Sponsored by Serval Industries. Peter David. First of all, Peter David, I'm glad you made a good recovery from your stroke. Because the comic book world needs more writers like you, and I appreciate everything you've done, not just in the previous run of X Factor, but hopefully you give us just as much goodness with this as you did with Madrox's run. But this was a pretty good issue. I'm gonna try my best not to ruin everything, but what we find out in here is that there is a spy. There's a spy in X Factor that one of the two guys is a spy to keep an eye on Polaris for Havoc, and I love the love-hate chemistry. They love to hate each other. You know, it's just, you know, shit like that. The main story focuses on Serval Industries' computer servers have been hacked. Lots and lots of money has been stolen. Some of their secrets have been stolen and everything, and it comes as quite a shock to them. I'm not going to give away everything in the book. There's some shit with Polaris in here that just freaked me out. I'm like, oh my god, what are they going to do with Lorna? But it was just a minor plot point at the most in here, but it was still worth mentioning, because I'm like, oh boy, where the fuck are they going from there? But Gambit has an idea of who hacked Serval's computers, and when they go to the person that he believes did it now, and some things are said, and there's a big reveal at the end of the book that I still won't spoil, even though Marvel technically spoils it in the solicit for their next issue. As much as that just burns me up, that Marvel sometimes will spoil their own shit just to try and make an extra buck or two, even though it's not guaranteed to make an extra buck. I just think that's bullshit. To me, if I was running a comic book company and I gave a big cliffhanger in a book, don't fucking spoil it in the solicitations for the next issue or two. Keep it a mystery. Make the readers want to buy the next issue just because of the cliffhanger. Because people who haven't read said issue with said cliffhanger, maybe they want to see what this cliffhanger was all about, and then they'll buy that issue, and then they'll buy the next issue, and then who knows, maybe they'll put the series on their pull list. But no, Marvel went ahead, and I guess according to the solicitation at the end of this book for what the next issue cover is going to look like, We already know what the big cliffhanger was, but despite all that, I still won't give it away. This was really good. It's not some of the best stuff from Peter David, I will not lie about that, but for what I got, I was entertained, I enjoyed it. All kinds of plot points that could go in, could take the story in any direction possible, and that's what I love about Peter David's writing. This is really good stuff. Moving on to Kick-Ass 3, issue number 6. Mark, John, why is this shit $5? This was not worth $5. Maybe $4 at the most. But all this basically was Hit Girl explaining on how she became Hit Girl. There's only like maybe one page where we see what Kick-Ass is doing, and that's pretty much it. The rest of this book is all about Hit Girl's past, her origin, if you will. And, okay, so she was afraid to kill at first, but once she got the feeling of it, she got hooked on it. You know, I'm like, okay. Some bad jokes, some good artwork, though, I'll give it that. There was some really good artwork. The only thing about this issue that I truly, truly liked was the cliffhanger, because it's one of those dun 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 kinds of cliffhangers, and I'm like, oh my god, I got to see where this goes. I've got to see the next issue. How is Mindy gonna get out of this jam? Fucking great cliffhanger. The rest of the book was just pretty much there. It's basically just Hit Girl's origin on how she became a killer and how Big Daddy trained her. That's pretty much all that was. If I left anything out, it's probably because I didn't care enough to give everything away. The Superior Spider-Man, issue number 27.0. This is part 1 of the Goblin Nation storyline. As much as I've been shitting on Superior Spider-Man here lately, as, you know, as it being simply a good series, but still kind of insulting to us real Spider-Man fans who have been reading Peter Parker for the past 50 fucking years, this was actually pretty good. You know, Ock is, you know, he's constantly obsessing as to, you know, how some of his systems were overridden and everything like that. He's like constantly freaking out. It's like, how can somebody outthink me? Blah, 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 blah. You know, just narcissistic bullshit line after a narcissistic bullshit line. And he finds out it's the Goblin, Norman Osborn. And he gets into Osborn's lair, and Osborn was practically standing there waiting for him to show up. You know, it's like Norman knew he was going to find his way there and get there, so instead of fighting, the Goblin decides to sit Ock down for a talk. And this is where we get the big reveal that Norman may be crazy, but remember, he's not fucking stupid. And thanks to some sources, Ock knows he's in deep shit. This was good. Really good. You know, as much as I hate the fact that they are basically pushing Spider-Man as a heroic villain, this was actually really good. I enjoyed reading this, but at the same time, I have to say, fuck Otto Octavius, give me back Peter Parker. It's a double-edged sword. I enjoyed reading it, but I still hate Ock as Spider-Man. I thought this would have just merely a short run, but I think they dragged this series out longer than they should have. Just another series I will not miss once it goes. Take a drink every time I take a drink. We're going to finish it off with Wolverine The X-Men number 41. Jason Aaron's still killing it with the writing in here. This mostly deals with Toad. This was just pure fun. I don't know how else to describe this. This was just pure fun. it really tugs on your heartstrings to see Toad tried to change. And unfortunately, they had to get rid of him. They had to fire him from the Jean Grey school and everything. And Toad tries to patch things up with Paige, you know, Husk. And it's just one thing leading on top of another, just, just botched conveniences that keeps Toad from meeting Paige and everything. Some really good action, some good one-liners in here, some side humor here, like Wolverine covered with Bamf crap. He's like, anybody know how to get crap off the walls? And he's covered in little blue elf shit. It's just fun. It was just fun stuff, really nicely done, and one of those kinds of endings where you kind of really feel for Toad. I mean, this was really good stuff. The stuff with Krakoa made me laugh hard. It's like Toad's telling Krakoa, please don't cry. You know you spit lava out of your eyes when you cry. And Krakoa just go, roar, roar. That shit was hilarious. I loved it. Jason Aaron knows how to take an X-Men title, knows how to take an X-Men story, and make it just outstanding fun. I loved it. This was a great issue. Not the best, but still great stuff. I loved it. Well, that's all I got for this week in comic books, ladies and gentlemen. I apologize for it being so late. Had to find the time to do this. Had a great Valentine's Day with Jennifer. Had a great weekend. Some other things came up, and I'm not going away. I'm just running a little behind schedule, and the fact that I'm getting kind of raspy. But thanks again for watching, everybody. Please don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget my Blugoblin X channel. And I got confirmation from my bro, the TheMtVernonKid, not too long ago that I don't know when it's happening, okay? I don't know when it's happening. I've already been asked this several times. When are my Midtown Comics Stash episodes coming back? And I'm here to answer that right here, right now. They are coming back. Chris has confirmed to me that the Midtown Comics are returning, even though he said he didn't have to do it, but he's doing it because he wants to do it. He knows I'm financially struggling with comics and everything. I can't afford to buy everything I want to read, and he understands that. He respects that. And bro, I want to say I love you, bro, for doing something so generous. I can't wait to see what you got in store for me from Midtown Comics. And as soon as the Midtown Comics stashes come back, you'll all be sure to know. Don't forget about Jennifer and I, our channel, Arkham Asylum Studio. We just uploaded a new video involving Silly Putty. So y'all might like that. Reviews will be coming back to Dark Avenger Inc. Plus as soon as I can find the time to do reviews for that. Like I said, I'm going to review Cataclysm. I'll probably review Cataclysm as a whole instead of each individual issue. I'm going to wait until the story is done, and I'll probably just review the story as a whole. Then I would like to try and review the new Fantastic Four, maybe Batman Eternal, and probably the Ultimate Spider-Man, the Ultimate X-Men stuff. Hopefully I can do that. Don't forget about my bro, TheMtVernonKid, Mark and Chloe at Fast Deck Comics, my good old buddies, Deadpoolzilla and Brandon Hex. Oh, man. Man, my throat is fucking sore. Thanks again for watching, everybody. And until next time, as always, I'll see y'all later.